Hello everyone, welcome back. This is lecture 1, class 9th, subject English. In this lecture, we are going to discuss chapter number 4 of Beehive, that is, a truly beautiful mind. Here we are going to discuss the introduction of the chapter, then we will have a look on the explanation of the chapter, then the suitability of the title and the message conveyed through the story. Then we will discuss new words, and in the end we will summarize the chapter by chapter highlights. A truly beautiful mind. Introduction. The title of the chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind, refers to Albert Einstein as he was a great scientist. The story recounts the life of an outstanding scientific personality, that is, Albert Einstein, from his birth till his death. This is a short biography of his where some of his qualities have been highlighted, like what were his interests, what he used to do in his childhood, Albert's interest in mathematics and physics, and also his humanitarian attribute. That means, how was he as a human? The title, A Truly Beautiful Mind, makes one wonder that how can a scientist's mind be beautiful? It is so because in this lesson we come across another aspect of Einstein. He was a humanitarian. He advocated world peace, non-violence, and that is why the title refers to him as a truly beautiful mind. So this chapter is about Albert Einstein, and the title is totally apt as this chapter, this story, this biography, or I can say an extract from his biography, will reveal about his mind as a scientist and as a human. Now let's see the explanation of the chapter. On 14th March 1879, Albert Einstein was born in the German city of Ulm. Until the age of 2.5 years, he could not speak, and when he began speaking, then he spoke every word twice. In childhood, his playmate considered, that means his companions, his friends, his classmates, considered him to be boring. His mother also thought that he was crazy because of the abnormally large size of his head. So Albert Einstein was born to German parents, and he was considered abnormal because of the large size of his head. And when he started speaking, that also he started speaking with difficulty. He never talked so much with his companions and therefore considered boring. The headmaster of his school regarded him as stupid and good for nothing, but then he proved all of them wrong. When he was 6, that means when he was 6 years old, on his mother's insistence, he learned to play the violin and became a skillful violinist. So he loved to play with mechanical toys and preferred to play alone, so he was considered as boring. Even his school headmaster was not happy with him, telling his father that Albert would never be successful, whatever career he took up. His mother made him learn how to play the violin at the age of 6 years. He later on became a talented non-professional violinist. His family shifted to Munich when he was 15, but there he felt uncomfortable with the strict discipline of the school, so he left it. So his parents shifted to Munich and allowed him to continue school in Munich, but he left the high school there at the age of 15 years as he felt uneasy with the strictness there. On completing his schooling, he joined the university at Zurich because the atmosphere there was more liberal and accepted new ideas and concepts. He showed more interest in physics and mathematics, so he continued his studies at the university in Zurich, and he showed extraordinary interest in two subjects, that is physics and mathematics. He met a fellow student, Mileva Marek, at the university. She was equally intelligent and clever. So there he met a Serbian girl, Mileva, who was also an intellectual. They fell in love and ultimately married after Albert found a job on finishing his university studies. But their marriage did not continue, did not survive, and they were divorced in 1919. Subsequently, after finishing his education, Albert worked as a technical expert in the patent office at Bern. Also, there he secretly worked on his idea on relativity. As he had a keen interest in physics and mathematics, so after finishing education and getting a secure job at the patent office at Bern, he continued his research on relativity. He put out his paper on the special theory of relativity, which follows by the world popular equation E is equal to mc square. So this was his special theory of relativity. Albert Einstein married the second time. He married his cousin Elsa. At the same time he married Elsa, another thing coincided. It was Einstein's rise to world fame. Einstein became world famous. Everyone acknowledged him as a great scientist. When he married his cousin Elsa, he published, that time he was a renowned scientist because of the publishing of his general theory of relativity. The solar eclipse of the sun proved his theory as correct, and he became famous as his work was considered a scientific revolution. In addition, he also publicizes his paper on general theory of relativity in 1915. This gave an absolutely new definition to the concept of gravity. His work was considered a scientific revolution. For this and other achievements, he received the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. So, his theory was considered as a scientific revolution, and not only because of this theory, but because of other achievements also, he received the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. In 1919, during the solar eclipse, his theory came out to be accurate and revolutionized physics. Then, in 1933, he emigrated to the USA as Nazis had come to power in Germany. He did not want his finding and research to be used for destruction. So, he immediately emigrated to the USA because he knew that his invention can be used to cause destruction in the world. As he knew that when the world scientists would come to know that Germany had developed nuclear fission, he became afraid that the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. So, he discovered the principle of nuclear fission, and he was the first person to write to the American president about the dangers of atomic bombs, as he knew that Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. So he wrote a letter to the American president about the dangers of atomic bombs. And he was persuaded by his colleague to write to the American president about it, so that this, as he knew, this development can cause large scale devastation. Moreover, in 1945, when America threw down the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he was deeply hurt. Also, he writes a letter to the United Nations for the formation of a world government, so that it can prevent recurrence of such destruction. Einstein was deeply shocked by the extent of destruction caused by the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He immediately wrote a letter to the United Nations for the formation of a world government, so that no other country can use such nuclear weapons for the destruction of any other country. For another 10 years, Albert Einstein was involved in world peace, though he was a scientist and his main focus could be to invent new inventions, whether it would be destructive or not. But as a human, he considered and he thought that his invention should not prove destructive for any other nation. So he got involved in world peace. He was involved in politics, and his agenda, his main aim, was to stop the countries involved in collecting arms and developing weapons. He campaigned for world peace and democracy. His main agenda was world peace and freedom of people. He pleaded nations to stop the arms build-up by forming a world government. Einstein could foresee the future. When he died in 1955 at the age of 76, the world celebrated him as a visionary. He was a world citizen and a scientific genius too. So Einstein continued campaigning for an end to the arms build-up and used his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy during the next 10 years till his death in 1955. He was known and celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. Visionary means who can foresee the future. World citizen who thinks about the world only before an individual. So when he died, the world celebrated him as a visionary. So this was about this chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind. Now the title. As we all know, the title of the story is A Truly Beautiful Mind. A beautiful mind keeps on thinking. Beautiful means anything beyond hatred, jealousy, outrage. So, a beautiful mind keeps on thinking about the services it can provide to the whole of humanity. Albert Einstein certainly possessed a truly impressive mind. His works always aimed at securing, or say guarding, human existence and humanity. An instance that illustrates his quality comes from the time of the Second World War, in which he strictly condemned the creation of atomic bombs or atom bombs. He was against the development of such nuclear weapons that can cause everlasting impact on any nation. This was because he was aware of the huge destruction that this type of weapon could bring to humanity. Einstein has illustrated multiple examples which express his definition of truly impressive mind throughout the whole story. Therefore, the title given by Albert is very appropriate and expresses the following idea, that is, a truly beautiful mind is one that cares for humanity and serves for its benefits. So, we can wisely say that the title of the story is totally apt, a truly beautiful mind, as it reflects the visionary power of a great scientist, Albert Einstein. Message. This account of the life and personality of the famous scientist Einstein gives us the message that beautiful mind possesses not only innovative ideas but also makes sincere efforts to use these ideas for the well-being of mankind. Science should be solely devoted to the promotion of worldwide peace and prosperity. If used for destructive purposes, the scientific inventions and discoveries can wreak havoc on the earth. So this was the message conveyed through this story, A Truly Beautiful Mind. That science can be used for the promotion of worldwide peace instead of using scientific knowledge for destructive purposes. Now let's see the chapter highlights of this chapter. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in Germany, in the city of Ulm. He did not interact with his class fellows and remains to himself. He did not like to talk to his classmates and therefore he was considered as boring by his companions. His mother wanted that he should learn to play violin, as he was being regarded as good for nothing by the headmaster and his teachers due to his oversized head. His mother wanted that he should learn to play violin. He started learning violin at the age of 6 and became a gifted amateur violinist. So, on the insistence of his mother, he started learning violin at the age of 6 and thus became a gifted amateur violinist. He hated the strict discipline and left his school at the age of 15. He was not feeling comfortable with the strict disciplinarian environment of the school and therefore he left the school when he was 15 years old. He was highly gifted in mathematics and was interested in physics. He was deeply interested in two subjects only. They were mathematics and physics. He started studying at Zurich University, where he had a special interest in a fellow creature, Mileva Marek. When he continued his studies at Zurich University, when he left the school, his parents shifted to Siberia, to Switzerland, right? And there he continued his studies at Zurich University, where he met a fellow creator, Mileva. After securing job, when he got a secured job, he married Mileva and they had 2 sons. They both fell in love, they married and they had 2 sons. In the year 1919, after prolonged fighting, both of them separated. After marriage, there were disputes between them and so in 1919 finally they both separated. He married his cousin Elsa the same year. When he got separated with Mileva, he married his cousin Elsa. He started a stable job as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern, and when he married, that time he had started a stable job, a secure job as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. In 1905, he gave the world the theory of relativity, in which he mentioned that distance are not absolute, right? So time and distance are not absolute, and this theory of relativity was invented by Einstein. Einstein received Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. When Germany came under the power of Nazis, Einstein left Germany and shifted to the United States of America forever, as he did not want his invention, his scientific knowledge, to be used as a destructive weapon to destroy any nation. He wrote his concern to the President of America, Roosevelt, and warned him against the usage of nuclear bombs, as he knew that the effect could be everlasting, that can lead to huge devastation. So, as he was being forced by one of his colleagues, he warned Roosevelt about the large-scale devastation caused by a nuclear bomb. Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction and wrote an official letter to the United Nations organization. But he failed, as America dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and Einstein was deeply hurt. Albert Einstein proposed to form a world government. Seeing the massive destruction caused by the atomic nuclear bombs, he wrote a letter and proposed the United Nations to form a world government so that no country would be allowed to use such weapons. He was involved in politics, and his agenda was to stop the countries involved in collecting arms and developing weapons. So he got involved in politics, and despite being a scientist, he got involved in promoting world peace and harmony. His main agenda was world peace and freedom of people. As he was shocked by the extension of the destruction caused by the bombs, he suggested the United Nations to stop the arms build-up by forming a world government. Then he used his popularity to campaign for world peace and harmony. He died in 1955 at the age of 76, and that time the world celebrated him as a visionary. He was known and celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. Now let's see the new words: cosmos, universe, journals, professional magazines, destined, fate, freak, abnormal person, uttered, spoke, regimentation, order or discipline taken to an extreme, liberal, willing to understand and respect others' opinions, ally, a friend or an associate. Philistines, a word used disapprovingly to talk about people who do not like art, literature or music. Amateur, doing for pleasure only. Stifled, suffocated. Patent, a document which gives the rights of an invention to an inventor. Unraveling, starting to fail. Faltered, became weak. Deflected, changed direction because it hit something. Prolonged, lengthened. Emigrated, leave one's own country in order to settle permanently in another. In an uproar, very upset. Missive, letter, especially long and official. Visionary, a person who can think about the future in an original and intelligent way. Book like you, thinking like you. Proclaimed, declared, lauded, praised highly. In an uproar, very upset. Fled, ran away. Fascism, extreme system of government. Agitating, campaigning. Build up, increase over time. Visionary, one who can think about future. Intellectual ambition, interest in scholarly work. So they were the new words of the chapter. Now your homework is that you have to read the chapter thoroughly and do the textual questions. But you need to do the textual questions in your practice notebook, and after the solutions are discussed, you will write the answers in your fair notebook.